Loaded carries. Buckle up, kids. We're going for a ride. So first off, I don't want to sound like I'm attacking Dr. Pat Davidson. I like him, actually, and I get his point. Loaded carries are something that poor people do. And, rich people don't do them. And so now, personal trainers are having rich people do poor people work. And I get it. I get it. Why do I get it? Because I grew up in a trailer park and then we upgraded later on and moved to the projects. And I've done physical labor for most of my life and because I don't have any real skills. So I do physical labor. That's how I paid the bills. And so, doing physical labor, I dragged railroad ties up and down hills, and I carried shingles up and down ladders. And later on, I upgraded and I carried solar panels up and down ladders. And, I did physical labor, which means I picked up shit and carried it around. Okay, but should you be doing loaded carries? And the answer is yes. Here's why. I made some notes for myself here, so here you go. Every single time in my life that my life or someone else's life has depended on my physical ability, it was a situation where I had to pick up someone or something and carry it. No one has ever asked me, hey, can you squat this thing, or can you deadlift this thing, or can you bench press this thing in a life and death scenario? No, every single time it's been a situation where I had to pick up someone and carry them. It seems rather obvious to me then that you would want to train loaded carries because your life or someone else's life might depend on it. Maybe your child's life. That's an interesting thing. I get it. They're not great for hypertrophy, right? So if you're training for men's bikini, go ahead and turn this video off. That's not the people that I speak to. I am speaking to people who do real world shit. And so like if you're a firefighter or you're a Marine or anything like that, you might have to pick up somebody or something and carry it. Now, I share this because in my life, I can give you a story of a time where I'm really glad I did a lot of loaded carries. I used to do this crazy thing. We'd take a 185-pound sandbag, you'd pick it up and see how far you could carry it. And I actually broke a record once in that. I carried it for a mile, and I did it in 14 minutes and 56 seconds, which is hauling ass if you have a 185-pound sandbag. I worked my ass off to do that. It wasn't like I did that the first try. That took like years of practicing that and training it. Now, why does this matter? Well, because this one time in my life, it mattered. I pulled an officer out of a burning vehicle and then I had to carry him. Shit, I'm really glad I did a whole bunch of loaded carries, because if I hadn't, do you think I would have been able to pick up a full-grown man and carry him across uneven terrain at that? It's not like I was carrying him on a flat track, okay? Shit, wait a minute, this kind of stuff might matter. Yeah, well, my dad did physical labor, and, everyone likes this cheesy-ass line about how, like, one time your parents picked you up, set you down, and never picked you up again. Yeah, only for me, May 3rd, 2017, my dad picked me up out of a wheelchair, carried me and put me into the car, drove me back to his house, and then picked me up and carried me from the car and carried me into the house and put me on the couch because I couldn't walk. I had just had surgery and I was not in any shape to do anything. My whole pelvis was all stitched together and stapled together. So, yeah, that's 2017. Oh, yeah. Stop and do the math real quick. I was 33. So I wasn't just like a 5-year-old kid. I was a full-grown man, and my dad picked me up and carried me. And this wasn't an issue for him because he did physical labor his whole life. Okay? My dog developed cancer. She developed osteosarcoma, which is a form of bone cancer. She was 165 pounds when she first developed this cancer, and I used to have to pick her up and carry her. Had to pick her up and carry her out to the car. Had to pick her up and carry her to the vet. Had to pick her up and carry her. And I'm really glad that I was capable of doing that, because if I wouldn't have been able to pick my dog up and carry her, I would have just had to put her down. So, it might behoove you, and you might want to think about this. Anytime you need real-world strength, you probably have to pick up something and carry it. If you watch Strongman, there's a lot of picking up heavy things and then carrying them. That's interesting. Yeah, go ahead and do like a Zercher carry and let me know if that doesn't light you up. Pick up a heavy sandbag and carry it. Shit, for that matter, pick up a heavy suitcase, like literally a suitcase, like you have shit in it. Pick that up and carry that. Suitcase carries are fantastic. Everyone should be doing suitcase carries. You don't need to have 2 farmer walk handles even. Just get the heaviest dumbbell you can find and carry it for as far as you can. When you can't carry it anymore, set it down and pick it up with the other hand and carry it back. Oh, yeah. That's one hell of a way for you to build up your QL, by the way. This unilateral carry of doing a suitcase carry, that'll really strengthen your back. You will have the ability to stabilize your midline. That's kind of important. So if you think about this for a minute here, okay? For people who do real physical labor, for people who do real world things, like a firefighter carrying someone, doing rescue work, you're a Marine, you're a Navy SEAL, you might have to pick up someone and carry them. Or you're a parent. You might have to pick up your child and carry them. That seems pretty important. I mean, God help you. I hope nothing ever happens to your children, but unfortunately things do happen. So now your child gets injured. You definitely want to be the person who can pick up your child and carry them. You do not want to be the person who's helpless and just standing there looking at your child with a broken femur and going, I don't know how to pick them up. You probably want to be able to pick up your child. So do you need to be able to, farmer walk, 500 pounds? No. But you should be able to pick up something that's maybe 70, 80 pounds and carry it. This is going to help you. You want to do this. I know, like I said, if you're training for men's bikini, don't worry about this. This isn't you. Go do your leg extensions and hamstring curls and, your side bends and your sit-ups and whatever else you do for ab work or whatever thing and your dumbbell fly stuff. I don't know how they train. It's not up to me. I know they do a bunch of ab stuff. And side bends and sit-ups comes from a song, Baby Got Back. You should have known that one. Anyways, the point being, if you do anything real world, you're probably gonna wanna do some loaded carries, because loaded carries are pretty much one of the only things that we do in training that actually carries over into the real world. No one's ever gonna hand you a barbell and ask you to power clean it or snatch it. No one's gonna ask you to squat it, bench press it. In the real world, you're gonna pick up something and carry it, just like how I used to tear toilets out and have to carry toilets downstairs. Yeah, when you're doing remodeling, you gotta carry this big fucking weldy thing that's it doesn't have a handle. You gotta pick it up and carry it. You bear hug it and just carry it out. So for those of us who have done actual physical labor, real world things, you might wanna train some loaded carries. And if you wanna be a useful person, you wanna do some loaded carries. I think this is pretty obvious. I feel like I state the obvious all the time, but this is one that's a big one. Like, if you're not doing loaded carries, then you're just training for stepping on a stage or showing people your abs on Instagram. If you want real world strength, like something that actually translates, makes you more useful as a person, like do some loaded carries.